Oh gosh. Good morning. Good morning. Forgot to get my tweet ready, so I gotta do that real quick. Blah, 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 blah. Day 9 of Advent. What did I call it? Sweet themed decorations. Excuse me. I had a sneezing fit before I got started, and I think that's triggered a bunch of other stuff, so I apologize. Okay. Alright. Oh, this thing is so... Okay, can I save it now? Yeah, okay. I can save it. Alright. It's too long. Hold on. Theme decor plus. There we go. Gosh, I'm so unprepared this morning. But we're getting there. Fair warning, I saw on Twitter, I didn't really see anything in the forums, but I saw on Twitter that there was a lot of people reporting connection issues. Some even speculating that there was like a DDoS attack going on. I did see an official mention of it from WildStar Ops. They said that they were experiencing some network issues across all titles and that their team was working on it. So far, I've logged in. I haven't had any disconnects or anything, so I'm going to assume that it's okay to go ahead and try and do the stream today. But if for some reason we do get disconnected, that would probably be why. And of course, I will try and get back in, but if it comes that we can't, then we'll just pick up things next week. So yeah, today is the 9th, so we're going to be working on today's Advent. For anyone that hasn't spotted it yet, I just posted the Friday freebie for today. Last week, I should say. I did it more in the afternoon my time, so I decided to go and do it this morning for that. It's the holiday tree that we did for one of the Advent things. So if you're interested in picking up one of those, just reply with a corresponding response to the question or whatever that I posted up. And first 5 that do that will get a copy of the KBT code for that. Now, as I've mentioned before, the Friday freebies, if you don't have Katya's Builder Toolkit add-on or aren't very comfortable with using it, or use it but have never tried doing the set exchanges, I have access to both regions, both factions, so if it's more convenient for you, I'll be happy to install it for you. Again, as we discussed yesterday, I won't be in the habit of neighboring people on a permanent basis anymore, but I'll be happy to do that temporarily to get you the code and install the item that you're going to be getting, and then we'll just unneighbor after that. First we're going to take a look at what I've been working on my mains plot. Some of you may recall the Shades Eve party room that I worked on in October, and I decided to go ahead and change it up again. It's been a few different things. Before the Shades Eve thing, it was a beach house, so there was like an ocean or seaside scene with just water, lots and lots of water, and there was a beach and palm trees and everything else. But then we went to the Shades Eve bit, and of course, it being the Haunted House Fab Kit, that works really well. It's got the nice lighting, Probably the creepy music. I have yet to even listen to what actually is playing in here, but I'm sure it's totally inappropriate to the colorful bits that are in here now. But I decided I was going to try and do a I guess it's my version of like a gingerbread or candy house, but we're only going to be seeing it from the interior rather than the exterior. So trying to make everything kind of candy or sweets themed. The furniture is foodstuffs like ice cream sandwiches. I went ahead and added some filling to these things, so maybe they're kind of like sloppy macaroons or something. Or what do they call those? The whoopie pies or some? I don't know what they're called. There's like some kind of uh, a mint as a pillow, lollipops for the flowers, and of course all of the paintings around the room are sweet related. We got the cupcake, the ice cream cone, and the lollipop. And again, I'm trying to do that with all the rest of the furniture. We've got a cabinet here that looks like a block of chocolate, or it does to me anyway. We've got a candy bar refrigerator, and yesterday I worked on trying to set up part of the kitchen to go with the refrigerator. So it kind of reminds me of like shortbread. Shortbread is, I guess, similar to gingerbread, but it's lighter. Um, I could be using the wrong term. I'm not, I don't profess to be a baker or a cook or anything, so my terms probably are wrong depending on what region you're from, but I call it shortbread. It's more like a sugar cookie type of thing. It's lighter in color. Um, Depending on how you cook it, it's maybe a little bit harder in texture than the gingerbreads, which could be both hard and like a soft, chewy kind of gingerbread, depending on how much molasses you put into it. But I tried to get it to look like it's been iced to hold the pieces together, and that's what's created the countertop and cabinetry and everything. So we're going to go over the pieces I used for this, and then we'll see about making something for today's Advent, something holiday related. Good morning, Poi, and anyone else that happens to be lurking around. And always, as always, appreciate you guys joining, and very much thank you for the hosting. I appreciate it. For the shortbread itself, it's one of my fave pieces. I have a lot of fave pieces, but this is definitely one of them. I use it in a lot of different ways. Is the cardboard box. It's the bottom of it. You see it's used for not only the tops, but the sides as well. And even for the cabinets, I put it on the bottom too. It's just the bottom part of the box that is showing. That allows you to, whoops, take this out here. Allows you to hide all of the tags and stickers and junk that are on the sides. So I'm just using the top. I've used it for blankets, pillows, I don't know what else. I'm sure many other things. The handles are chocolates. It's basically the upside down or sideways barnacle weed. It's the same thing I used for the chairs over here to make the seats, the cushions. It's also the same thing I'm using for the chocolate ice cream on the ice cream cone. And not sure if I'm using it anywhere else. Don't think so. So that's what the handles are. The stove, the handle for it is also one of the barnacle weeds. It's just turned to the side, so it's just the edge that you see. And I started to use the really straight edge, and then I thought, no, I kind of want it to look a little lumpy, like a wad of cookie or something. So I went with a little bit of a lumpier side. The front bit of the stove is just one of those wall shelf, the Marauder version. I just sunk in the main bracket underneath at the bottom into the icing down below. The icing is actually just a bunch of ice rock blocks Some I used specifically for the trim around some of the edges. Others I just use as a whole to help get that extra little strip of icing here and to fill up the gaps between. So in some places it looks like the icing is actually sticking out further, like here. It's a little further than the box, and then other places it's like pretty much even with the box or slightly below it. As in right here. It's a little above here but below there. So there's a little bit of inconsistency in that respect, but I think from a distance it looks pretty uniform, sort of. For the stove top, again, the little knobs are the barnacle weeds. I've just turned it and sized it down a bit just so that a little bit of the corner shows for the little knobs. And then the hot plates themselves are orange windows. I happen to have some extras. As I was tinkering with the lollipops in the other corner of the room, I decided to use those for the burners. It kind of blends in because it's all a lot of yellows and stuff, yellows and browns, but it kind of makes it look like the cookie has been printed with the stove uh, apparatus or whatever. So it kind of fits, I guess. I don't know. I just sunk it down far enough so that just a little bit of the orange in the middle shows with the ring, so it kind of looks like an old burner. For the sink, I'm using the two bowls. I think it's actually two or three bowls, twisted, layered up. Again, it's supposed to look like a little bit of icing decoration, so it looks not as white as the actual ice rock blocks, but still kind of like someone piped on some, I don't know, filigree or whatever. For the water, it's the upside down frost spore. It's just that wiggly tentacle looking thing. For the sink, I'm using three floral fence posts. One is upside down and turned just so that it looks like the faucet. And then the other one is right side up, and it's just the very top where the acorn is, and that's what I'm using as the faucet controls. Um, so it's not really recognizable as acorns there unless you get really close and you can kind of see it, but it just fit the kind of work that I used the ends of it. So it's not really recognizable, but it still looks like some different knobs than the usual, you know, Chua cups and stuff like that. Hey Faye, good morning. Glad you could join. So as I progress with this, I will probably try and install some kind of a vent here. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to tackle that yet. And then leave this part open and maybe put the dining table here. I might even make some kind of an island, maybe to divide the kitchen from the dining. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that. But yeah, it's coming along. It's slow. Again, I may not even finish before the holiday is past, but but it's been fun giving it a try. Trying to think of different things that I can make kind of look like some kind of a food item, even if it actually isn't. So to that end, we're going to, in fact, let's just going to replicate this bit out here, make a little bit of a table kind of thing going on. And I know we're not on Dill's plot, which is the warehouse plot, but we'll go ahead and do the what am I trying to say? The Advent thing here, since I'll probably leave it here anyway. It's all just cardboard boxes and snow. Now, because of the way I had to do the lighting to kind of jazz this place up, I mean, you can still see the haze of the fab kit itself at a distance, but as you get closer, everything gets really, really bright. So what makes these snow blocks nearly blinding. You can't even see the arrows and stuff if you've got a bunch of them lined up together. It's really tough. But if you can get past that, they still make for some fun materials to work with. Okay, and then I need to put some on the top. Probably take a couple of them because it's a little wider than the countertops here because I have part of it pushed into the wall. So let's see how this looks. Not too bad. So there's our little island dinner table kind of thing, just temporarily. I don't know if I'll leave it here, but just as our workspace. So one of the things that people usually do around the holidays is, especially if they have little kids, they always talk about leaving out a little offering to the Jolly Fellow as a thank you for him coming to their place and dropping off the gifts. Now, this could work for both Santa, if you want to go the Santa route, but it also works for Papa Phineas. I'm sure he would enjoy some cookies and milk kind of thing. So that's what we're going to try to do today, is set up a cookies and milk little decoration kind of deal. And I'm going to try and get as fancy or elaborate as I can, going to the extent of maybe even trying to make a little Dear Santa note, or Dear Papa Phineas, if you will. That's what I'd like to do. I don't know if we'll be able to actually pull it off, but we're going to try. So the first thing is glass of milk. We have lots of containers. You could bypass the whole milk look if you're, talking about white in a glass, by just, using something that you can't see the inside of, that kind of thing. A closed mug, or like a lidded stein or something, if you want to try it that way. But we're going to try and actually make a glass of milk. So probably the best glass. Now, we actually have two glasses that you use. There's the empty one and the full one. Now, the full one is, of course, excuse me, it costs renown, and it comes with a bit of a tint. It's kind of orangish, metal looking. So I would say it'd probably be safest to go with the empty one. Now, there is, I think, the shot glass empty. It's a little different shape, so if the one doesn't work for you, you might try the other one and see if it works better. I'm going to try the tall one, I think, and see if we can get that to look like a glass of milk. Now, when it comes to setting things on tables, generally speaking, most people will put their little knickknacks and stuff on tables, on cabinets, things that are solid, meaning they'll be able to hide a lot of things inside the top space or the interior of here. So if I decide to, say, for instance, use the Red Rocket as my milk because it has that white stem, I would need a way to hide the red part, and the smartest way would just be to flip it and tuck it in so that you just see the white that's inside the glass. Obviously, you size it down and however you got to do it. You may have to adjust things because, yes, you don't want the milk poking through the glass like it is there. So just adjust the sizes until you get it about the way you want. That's pretty close. It's still poking out in a little bit, but not too much. So there's technically our little glass of milk. Now I could raise this up a bit so that it's actually poking through the top of the glass, so that when they look in, it looks like it's filled with the milk. That's kind of an important thing. You know, just do whatever you can to kind of feed that illusion that it's got some milk stuffs in there. It's got a really narrow bottom. That's why I say it might be easier if you use the other one because it's a little bit shorter, so it's a little wider at the bottom than this one is. But maybe to fix that, you can just add some extras to widen it up at the top while still keeping it narrow at the bottom. It's a small detail. A lot of people probably wouldn't even need to bother or want to bother with that, but if you want to just make the glass a little more full than just a lot of glass, this is one way to do it. Now, if you have the unfortunate task of trying to place something like this on, say, a clear glass surface, like a table that you've made out of framed glass or whatever, and you don't have the luxury of being able to hide anything underneath there, probably you might could try the ice rock block stuff. For instance, let's just put another glass over here. The problem with these probably would be that they won't be visible unless you're right up on the glass, because you're going to have to make it pretty small. But let's see. Probably the cornerstones would work better. Now, you could possibly just put 2 of those red rockets with the red part end to end, but I think the red part is actually wider than part of the white, so I think you would still get some, what do they call it, overlap, and you wouldn't be able to hide it completely. I think I've tried that before, trying to make one long white stick and having the 2 red ends kind of tucked in, and I don't think that worked exactly. Let me see if I can try that here. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, especially because the shape of the rocket is a little skewed as well, so that makes it that much more complicated. But I was thinking if you could somehow mask the red within itself, it might work. Sort of like that. It's still got little bits sticking out, but it's probably as close as you could get to having a solid white bit. But you can see you'd have to shrink it down and probably use multiples of that pair to get that fullness again. Because again, you wouldn't be able to sink the extra bit of the white down inside the floor or the table. So yeah. I don't think that would be a viable option. So first and foremost, make your little round or whatever how you're gonna do it. You could use the cubes, but they're probably more likely to stick out the sides of the glass as opposed to using an actual round. Of course, this costs more pieces because you need 4 pieces to make the full round. Now I'm not going to worry about the gap as I did before. We're not going to get too technical with this. We're just going to quickly make our round. And then I'm going to link all these up together. Now we have a round, and then we're going to size it down. And work our way to filling up a glass. And you can see already at the size 0.03, I'm already having trouble with it sticking out the sides. So it's going to be fun, 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 fun. So I need some additional little round bits. As you know, you can't have it just sitting there at the top. That looks a little weird. So let's see. Milk. And cookies. Say new. And we'll say add link set. It's like totally hard to see. It like completely disappears in the glass at a distance. But you see how you can see the lines of the fluid? You want to call it that? And it's really fast to go by, so it's not going to be ideal. Whoops. Reached my max decor. Oh, I was afraid of that. Let me just close this up. May have to make this over on Dill's plot just because of that. I had to do some more cleaning, I guess, out of my crate. So let's, I'm going to make a copy of this, I guess. Let's hope I can avoid catching the floor. Just link all these up. I didn't even think about clearing out my crate, so apologies on that. I don't know which one I clicked. There we go. Glass, and we'll just grab the top one. We'll recopy the little one later. So, milk and cookies. Wow, that's like totally not. clear. This is one of the reasons why I love building straight from the housing vendor. In case something like this goes on, then I can just move to a different one and we're good to go. That'll be the problem with that particular build, is I have limited space and there's only so much I'm willing to delete out of my crate on my main plot, so I may not actually get to finish it. I'll just be able to put some of the bits in, which is unfortunate, but that's just how it's gonna go. Unless they surprise us with some decor increases out of the blue. That would be pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys saw the letter from Pappy about kind of reminiscing about the last year or two, and then talking about upcoming stuff, talking about off-world adventures and everything. Didn't really say much. I mean, it wasn't much of a tease, but at least they're looking forward. I'm happy about that. You know, as opposed to all the usual doom and gloom you get from people coming back and saying that it's still doomed to fail and blah blah blah. I'm glad that at least the Carbine team seems to be on a track for looking to the future, making future plans. Okay, so let's put our little right here. Now I didn't ice the bottoms. If you want to do that, just like get an extra one of these and ice it like that. And that gives you that extra little foof at the bottom. Now, you could have left it taller, but I like it a little lower. It seems more uneven with her height. Again, most of my builds are built with her in mind, so it's not like it. If you're a Grand Aunt character coming in, you'll probably feel like you're a giant in a little kitty house, but that's just, you know, how it works. But this way it has a little bit of icing on the bottom. I didn't do that earlier, but we'll do that now, just for funsies. Okay. So we were trying to get the snow bits sorted. You can see the little line there. Let's unlink these from the main and relink them as a set on their own. Here. And we'll do like we were doing earlier, that I tried to do, which is fill up the glass. Now, if you don't mind the lines, you can just leave it a little bit more space between them. But notice I'm filling them up pretty, so it tries to stay the same, I guess. Gonna cost some more decor, obviously, but see how this just works easier than using all these little pieces. But, you know, one of our objectives is to show various ways you can approach the same project using different pieces. So I had to make it a little smaller even to get that. Yeah, I hope so, Poi. I sincerely do. You know, and I'm not just talking housing, you know, while that's my main focus, I know that there are other aspects of the game that deserve just as much attention. Um, I'm just excited for anything that is likely to bring more people into the game. That's the deal. Okay, I think I'll do one more and call it good on that. Way too many pieces. Just adjusting the height. Keep clicking the wrong one. Just so we can see a little bit more of the milk. I like how this is a little closer to the lip, but I like the simplicity of this one. It's more, I don't know what you call it, less work. So it's like 5 pieces for this one as opposed to way too many for that one. Similar approach. I mean, the idea is the same, but the outcome looks vastly different. I mean, just standing here, you can see, you only see the top part of the milk in this one, whereas you see all of it here. So I much prefer this one. It's just problematic for those that, again, are trying to set it on the table that doesn't have that thickness to be able to hide it. So I would suggest if you're adamant about putting on a glass of milk and want to use this particular way, and you have a table that's a little problematic, either put it on a tray that's like a thick tray, or set the glass on like a book or a stack of books. You know, it doesn't have to be directly on the surface of the table. You know, find something to be that buffer where you can hide what you need to hide. That would be my suggestion anyway. Because this one definitely does not work very well, in my opinion. I mean, it works, but it just doesn't look the same. So let's get rid of this one. All that work, and I'm just going to trash it. Make sure I get the right. Which one is it? Okay. Again, if you've not used this, I hadn't started using this until maybe a month ago, and now that I discovered it, or actually I'm comfortable with using it, I use it a lot. It's basically, if you have a set you just want to quickly get rid of, say maybe all of that milk was linked up together, I could have gotten rid of it all in one go. Just select the parent of the set, hold down your shift key, and then hit create, and it gets rid of whatever's in that set. Just be sure that you want to get rid of that part, but before you do that. Okay, so the next important thing is, of course, the plate. Now, again, you could just use a regular plate. the little white one or the metal one that comes with directly from the vendors. The main thing with these is they don't have perfectly flat bottoms. They're slightly curved or whatever. They're indented. So anything that maybe is closer to the edge of the plates, it's really easy to have it poking through the bottom. The only way to avoid that is to make sure that whatever you've put on the plate actually sits like right on the surface of it, doesn't have anything sticking through. So like if I was to put this glass on the plate, if I put it too close to the edge, then the fireworks and the glass itself would probably poke through, that kind of thing. To avoid that, a lot of us use bottoms of other things to represent plates, like for instance, the bottoms of some of the tanks. Like the propane tank is probably one I've used before as a black kind of a platter type of thing. The succulent pig that's actually on a platter, I just turned it upside down so you don't see the pig, you just see the platter. It's like a nice silver kind of big piece there. I use that for like the turkey that we made, the turkey dinner. For pizza, I've used it for pizza platter, that kind of thing. Some of anything that's round, basically, and that you could kind of represent as flat. Again, it plays more to a place that you have something to sink in that extra stuff you don't want showing. So I could actually take like one of the fireworks. Let's see. Well, I kind of wanted to use a different one, but just for instance, you could use the bottom of this, size it up however you need, flatten it, and now you have this kind of like a party plate. Now, again, you would need that solid bit of the table or the cabinet or whatever to hide the rest of the rocket. So if you're, again, working on a glass table, that's not going to be practical for you. You'd have to stick with these type of bits. You could also get away with using windows. Some of the Oran windows work okay as plates. They're flat but round. And square things like the travel posters, those work good as trays. And probably the graded floor panel, that would work as well. A little bit thicker, on the thicker side, but it still could work if you're looking for some kind of a flattish surface, be it a rectangle, square, circle, whatever. You know, plates, usually we think of circles, but you know, I know there's others, serving trays and stuff that people might want to come up with. So you have options. It just really depends on the situation you're in, whether you have a way of hiding things you don't want shown or not. So with that in mind, let's try and make some cookies. Now, generally speaking, most of the cookies we've seen others build involve things like the windows, because they kind of look like iced cookies anyway. I'm not even sure if I have any here. Don't think so, no. But the orange one, the pink one, the colorful one, those all work good as like little iced cookies. I've used other things. If you've seen me work on my bakery in the past, I've used bits of like, what was that, the tribal something. Draken pot, maybe it was a pot. Yeah, I've used the ritual pot. The little blue dots on the side, I twisted it around so just the blue dot was showing and pretended that was a cookie, a different kind of iced cookie. So you could probably do that with a lot of different things. I wouldn't go as far as to use like the detonator one that has a little blinking green light, because maybe your cookie shouldn't be blinking, but I'm sure there's a lot of materials, Eldon bits and Technophage stuff that could probably work, because it has a lot of those vibrant greens and pinks and things. Even the fireworks themselves, you shrink them down, they could be like little iced decorated cookies with stars. But again, say if I'm wanting to show them on this plate, only the center, very center one would probably work all right. If I start trying to plate out some more, I have to raise it up to get it to the edge, and then it starts poking through the bottom. So that's one thing to think about. Hey Aurora, good morning. Glad you could join. Also, with this kind of thing, if it's something that starts off flat and you're having to raise it up to try and make it look like it's overlapping, you're going to get some variations in thickness, as opposed to if you were just using, say, the windows, you can tilt them and they all stay the same thickness no matter what. You just have to be careful about clipping and stuff like that. So just, you know, a lot of times when I use something flat like this as a cookie, it's usually like on a baking sheet kind of scenario where they're all in a single layer. They're not overlapping like a little pile of cookies. Trying to think. Of course, they don't have to be round, but round and colorful tends to look like cookies and sweets and things. So, you know, you could use domes and squares if you want for little weird sandwich cookies or something, but I think the colorful ones work better. But today I think we're going to try and make some Oreos, and I have two different ideas I'd like to try. One's going to involve using tires, so we're going to plop a tire out here, and the other is going to involve the graded floor panel. Now you already saw me messing around with the graded floor panel as ice cream sandwiches. It lends itself really well with the idea that it's got some filling already. It's kind of an off-white, this little strip here, but if you sandwich it together just right, it looks a little thicker. Yes, Aura, we did get a new thing. When you go to purchase a piece, let me see if I can get it to pop up for me. I can't seem to, oh, it's in the crate, that's why. If you do it from the housing vendor, you get the color options. I think there was, I don't know how many altogether, it's like 15, 16 colors. You can color shift it. So for example, let's say you want to, let's just go to triangle pieces, it's probably easier to look at. Say you want to color this differently rather than that drabby gray that most of our building blocks are in. You can choose to, it's like tinting to me rather than actual vibrant colors. It's more of a tint. For some things it works a little bit more brightly, others not so much. I think you can color NPCs and everything as well. But I think there's like some issues, bugs, like people have been talking about. They'll select a NPC and maybe it only changes the color of their face, but their hands and everything else is the same. So it's not 100% perfect right now. I think Esper did a lot of testing and said that they found that basic building blocks probably shows the color the best. They said that when you like do the trees and everything, it's not like you can select just color the trunk of the tree or just the leaves of the tree. It colors the entire tree. So it looks like it's been dipped in wax, I think is the way they described it. Um, but yeah, you have to color shift the item before you uh, place it, I think is what it is. So you can only do it on newly purchased pieces. Um, from what I understand, I haven't figured out a way to do it otherwise. I've only seen it from the housing item vendor preview window. Um, and if you color shift it, it will save that, once it's shifted, that color stays on it. You won't be able to change. So if you want a rainbow of colors of different types of building blocks, you'll have to purchase each individual one and each color you want and how many pieces you need. And as most of us have been saying, it's really an expensive thing because it costs like 10 gold every time you want to color shift a single item or one service token. So if you have a house that you want to build that has 100 pieces, that's 100 times 10 gold. That's a lot of money. But, I think if you use it sparingly, like for instance, Esper posted some pictures and ideas about those that have been trying to put together some lab works, especially those playing the Mordesh and the Chua. Um, uh, we have some kind of lavish looking stuff, but it's always, the same color, and if you have like a little file or bubbly thing of liquid, if they're all green, it doesn't look as fantastic as if you can make it a rainbow of colors. And they showed some examples of some of the things that they've been using for that and using the color shift on them, like the medical drips. They have not, it starts off blue, but they changed it to pink, and you could do it with any of the colors more than likely. So I think it will be something most will use sparingly. Myself, I probably won't be doing much of it at all because one, I'm stingy. I plus I have to build it first to see if I even like what it looks like, and then I start thinking about color. But then again, you can't, from what I can tell, color shift anything that's already existing. You have to apply the color to the item. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not like slapping on a new coat of paint. It doesn't create the item until you decide the color, if that makes sense. So I think it's not something, I don't think a lot of like beginner players or those that haven't accrued a nice nest egg of cash or service bits or whatever. I don't think it's something that they will use very frequently. And of course, I try to aim not just seasoned builders, but beginner builders to try and encourage them not to be intimidated by, the system and everything. And I think them feeling like they have to spend all this money just to get these different colors, I think I still want to show them that they can still make some pretty stuff without having that feature, so, or without utilizing it all the time. So, but yeah, I think it's Nexus Cupcake that's been showing some pictures of like the draft horse that they made, and it's all like got a black mane of hair. I think it was like wheatgrass, golden wheatgrass, and they dyed it black, so it looks like a black mane and tail for the horse, and it looks awesome. But it's just astounding to think of the price, because if it's 15 pieces for the mane, that's 15 times 10 gold. So it's going to be a money sink for sure, more so than it already is. Oh, is that what it is? Let me see. Yeah, it might be the add-on because I don't see nothing. Okay, say like I've placed it. Where's this color shifting icon? Or maybe it's I don't have this. Is it up here that you would see it? Because I have this part disabled, I think. But I don't see it in this part here at all. Yeah, I expect they'll probably make adjustments to the system, hopefully, at least based on the feedback. I think most of us are more concerned about the costs. Like I suggested, I think it would be better if they made it a free cost or at least a very minimal cost for building block decor. And uh, and like your general items, I consider those more a luxury, that the option is there for those that are willing and able to afford it, can go ahead and color shift those. But yeah, it's probably my add-on that's blocking it. I know I used to have like a button here, but I don't know how to call that up. I know there's a way to do it, but I don't know how to do it offhand. I'll do some experimenting later and see if I can get that. Yeah, so I figured there was a way, but I just, again, you know, I probably won't use it, not only because I don't see it, it's just not convenient for me because I don't want to change the add-ons. I'm too much in love with those things. Oh gosh. Okay, so cookies. We're talking about Oreo cookies. Um, so I figured there was two ways I could approach it: using a tire for the cookie, and then trying to make it look like it's stuffed with white icing, or to make a cookie out of the graded floor panels. The one with the tire, I'll probably use a combo of the two because I need something to cover up the center part of the wheel. I can use tires for that too. We've seen that when I've done hair bits and everything, but I want it to kind of be as flat as possible. Uh, it's not that it has to be, it's just how I want to try it. So we're going to see if we can get this. So first and foremost, I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to straighten this up, and then I'm going to straighten this up, size this down, and see if I can get this to cover up the circle without poking out. I fear it's gonna stick out, but we'll see. Yeah, it's like just on it. There we go. Well, it's still kind of showing a little there, isn't it? Let's try. Now this is going to be shrunk down pretty small, so we probably really won't notice most of this, but try it anyway. So for the filling, ideally you'd want a white disc of some sort. That would probably be the easiest. Oh, did you just tweet one? Let me look. Let me see. I don't see it yet. It's not showing up on mine just yet. Anywho, a flat disc of white would be ideal. Nothing comes to mind really. You could probably use the towels, the edges of the towels. But I'm gonna try and go with. Let me see. Try and think of something. Use the fewest pieces possible. Probably the cornerstones, I guess. Not the cornerstones, the arches. That's what I'm looking for. Arches. Now this is pretty thick, even when it's shrunk down. It's still pretty thick, but I'm hoping that the proportion will be all right for this. once I get it in place. Now think about how I'm going to have to still reduce this down. It's already at 0.15 for the filling. That's important to note because the smaller it goes, the less visible it will be. Just FYI on that. And I'm just going to slowly work my way around. Again, there's probably other ways you can do if you change the color of the filling. If you don't want white, if you want red or pink or green, we've got pillows and stuff, fireworks that you could probably use that would work better. But Oreos are traditionally the dark black cookie with the white center. Although I do think they make winter cookies, winter Oreos that are red filling. But I think the red might not show up as brightly as I'd like, so we're going to keep it this way. These look like double stuffed Oreos. They're so thick on the icing. I will probably use this as some of the furniture at the other place. I can already tell. This looks like a foot, what do you call a, not a futon, like a footrest. Let me see. Yeah, it's probably because of laments. I know there's a way I can have it actually showing, and I'll see if I can figure out. But this one here, this is laments. But I'm pretty confident. Let's see. Let's see. Is it this? There it is. It's the hide decor icon. You click the little gear on the laments and then unhide the decor icon, and then you get this little center bit. So you can do it right there. See, I prefer it not having all this right on top of the item because usually I'm working pretty small and I can't see what I'm clicking on, and so I just remove it. But I guess I'll have to bring it up if I want to use the color stuff. But that's how you get it to pop. If you're using laments add-on, that's the trick right there. The hide or unhide. So thank you for checking that out. Thank you, Poi, for linking that as well. One more, maybe? There we go. So there's our giant Oreo cookie. I'll probably use it as like some seats or something. Maybe shrink it about halfway, make some stools. I think that'll work good. I'm busy thinking about my candy house, so giant cookie seats sound good. Yes, the Oreos have some kind of writing, I think, up top here. You could get really elaborate and do that, but I don't think it's really necessary. I think hopefully most people will recognize that that's what I'm trying to make is the Oreo cookie. So that's one way to do it. Let's see. Let's try this one now. This one's going to be a little bit more tricky because first we have to turn it into a round. I'm really just kind of freehanding this. You can go and, search up the exact angles that you need if you want. But I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Okay, so there's there's around for that. I've used this in a couple other places for tabletops and stuff, like on Melancholy's place. So let me find the one that's semi-straight here. There's that thing. Can't find it. Ah, there it is. Put that one up top so most of it isn't blinky. And then I will link all of these together. Don't want to grab the one over here, so I'm just going to link this bunch. Voila. Okay, so once you have the top part fixed, then you can make the sandwich by just replicating it. Now you'll see this makes a really pretty design. Kind of weird looking, but still. And then, well, let me lift this up so I can get this straight. Now it's a little off center. You'll have to kind of stick it in the right place and then just, so now you have a little Oreo cookie that way. Same idea, different materials, different outcomes. Just depends on, you know, kind of what you're looking for. Now, if you want to get these all lined up exact, you could probably do that, but the general idea is there. Okay, so the big test is trying to get the cookies shrunk down and see which one looks the best, you know, and stands the test of the rendering from a distance. So let's grab this one. We're going to see if we can just grab what's right here. Oops, I'm gonna have to move away. Let's try that again. No, it's not letting me do it, is it? Well, let's try this. Let's do it. I'll make the... Let me just unlink all this stuff because it's not... What is... Okay, it's already a set. Never mind. I'm just being retarded here. Okay, so I'm going to shrink this down to make this little mini cookie. And you can see how the white disappeared pretty quick. And it still looks super thick. Let's get another plate here. But in theory, you could place several on the plate. Again, you're going to have to be up close to see the filling. You'll have to play with, you know, angles and everything to get it arranged like you want so things are not overlapping strangely. So up close, it looks like several giant Oreo cookies sitting on the plate. Let's move this one. And let's see how this one looks sized down. It holds its own a little bit better at a distance. You can still see the filling, so that's a plus. I like the frilly edges. What is it, making you hungry? uh, yeah, it's probably, well, I think part of that might be I'm not a big breakfast eater, so I tend to wait until after the stream to eat anything, and so I'm probably building on a hungry stomach, and that causes me to build a lot of foodstuffs. So that's probably not the best way to approach it, but wrong way. Trying not to make the cookie look floaty. Not the easiest thing in the world to do. Keeps slicing into that other one. There we go. I think that's about it. So again, same idea, different pieces, and you can see how they hold up to a distance kind of look. I think definitely these look like ding dongs actually. Does anyone know what a ding dong is? And I know that sounds bad, but it's actually a like, what is it, Hostess brand kind of. It's like a dark, it's like a little cake thing with some filling in it, and it's got dark chocolate over top, and then it's got these little swirly white icing bits on the top, and they're called ding dongs. I don't know. But that's what those look like from a distance. They look like little ding dongs rather than, so definitely for sure, I think if I'm going to do the cookies and milk thing on the other plot, I will use this scenario here. I think that looks more believable as a plate of cookies from a distance as opposed to the other one. We could probably turn these into like that. Maybe they look like what do you call them? The fondant. It's like the little lava cakes. It's got like, it's a cake, but when you break it open, it kind of oozes out the chocolate. You could just leave the filling off of these, and then that's what they'll look like, kind of. They also look like hockey pucks. So many uses for an item that I didn't really intend, but there you go. There's a hockey puck. Again, if you want to give a different filling, just find something to add color to that. With the color shift, you could probably easily do that as well. Just remember, it colors the whole item, not just a select. It's not like the gear that has dye channels, just doing like certain outlines. Again, it's like if you have a tree, it's going to color the trunk and the leaves and everything, that shade that you pick. It's not like it's going to leave the trunk brown and the color of the leaves change. I think there's people that want that, but I think it's a little high expectation to think that they'll be adding channels. I think that would complicate things for the decor, so I don't see that happening. But this is definitely a step in the right direction as far as giving us more control over the items that we use, and it's going to open up a lot of avenues for uniqueness between the plots. I mean, I could give a set, like that horse set, and somebody could paint theirs white, and another person might want theirs black, and someone else will leave it the natural color, and someone else will want a pink one, for all I know. Still only duplicates the original color. Huh. Well, I guess it's probably to avoid someone accidentally just buying a bunch of the color shifted version and freaking out about it when they realize the cost. I would think that's probably why it's that way. So say you have a place that's already built and you're wanting to color it, you'll have to do it individually, piece by piece, and it will be tough, not just cost wise but time wise too, because I think Esper was they were hoping that if like the set was linked, say they've just got like the skeleton of a home, it's not furnished or anything, it's just the structure itself. I think they were hoping that they could select the parent of the item and just say dye everything, color shift it all at one go, and that I don't think works that way. Red, green, and blue file. Well, like I said, there's going to be a lot of, that'd be great for, a lot of people like to use that tall file for like a Christmas ornament on their tree. Now they can make them different colors and it all look uniform, but, just add some variety, as opposed to, me squishing up pillows and costing way more. But again, I'm going to focus more on just using what I have at hand without getting into the extra costs of that. It's like I tend to just stick to the housing vendor. That's because when a player first starts, most, generally speaking, they don't have the omnibits, they don't have the protobucks, they don't have the renown or the reputation unlocks and all that kind of thing. So, because they're just starting, and all they have, generally speaking, is access to the housing vendor stuff. And so I want to show them that even with just that, they can still make some fun things, that they don't have to wait, or they don't have to feel like it's a lost cause because only the higher level players and the richest ones get to build all these really fun things. So I think we're going to go ahead and call it, guys. I hope this gives you some ideas for those of you that like adding little food bits to your plots, or have been looking for something to work as cookies or milk in a glass. I'm sure there's other approaches you could take, but this is the ones, these two are the ones that came to mind for me. Again, there's many other items that would probably work, and now that we do have the color shifting, those orange windows can now become, white if you want white icing cookies, or blue. Purple, I think, is one of the colors that you can issue it. So lends itself to a lot more variety, but I'm going to keep to the ho-hum and say, well, this is what you get, and see how it goes. But again, if you haven't noticed it and wanted to catch today's Friday freebie, I don't know if anyone's actually replied yet. I think I saw one, but First 5 followers that tweet a response to my inquiry will get a copy of the tree here, the orange tree, complete with ornaments and the little topper and everything. I think it was 84 pieces altogether. So it's a little high, but not too high, hopefully. For someone that has a little home that's already built, but they aren't sure how to put together something holiday-ish for their decorations for their living room or whatever, this is a quick way of them getting a little bit of that holiday spirit into their build. Um, but yeah, I think that's going to be it for today. Be sure and join us next week. We've got another set of winter plots to visit on Wednesday. Let's see, what is that? That'll be the 14th. Don't forget that following weekend, that's when Winterfest should be kicking off. It's set or slated for December 18th. So if you haven't experienced Winterfest yet, or if you're looking forward to checking it out again, grabbing up some of that luscious, colorful Winterfest decor, mark your calendars now. The 18th is when it should kick off. And of course, that means we have just over, well, right about 3 weeks right now before the CBDC showcase. So for those of you that are looking to participate in that, be sure and get me the info on that before the 30th, so ideally the 29th. Just an extra reminder, this is a special CBDC. Normally we don't do prizes or judging or anything. I try to keep it as fun and friendly and I don't know what you call it, can't think of the word, just open to more people participating so that they don't feel intimidated by whoever else might be participating as well. But this one's going to be a special one. Carbine's community team, especially Peregrine and Congueros, were very generous in setting me up with some special exclusive decor pack codes. They did this especially for this event, so I'm very delighted about that, and I'm super delighted that I'm going to be able to share that with you guys. Basically what it is if you participate in this month's CBDC, meaning you submit a project for it, then your name will be entered into some random drawings that we will be hosting the day of the showcase. So on the 30th, when we do the live stream to show everybody's works that they put together, we'll be holding some drawings, some random drawings for that. And each pack comes with 30 plus decor. So, who can say no to that? If it happens that I end up with either less than or the same amount of participants as I have codes, then obviously we'll just forego the giveaway part and everybody will get one of the packs. But I'm hoping, if things prove fruitful, that we will actually have more participants than codes. And to that end, everybody will have equal chance in the drawings. You can only win once, so once somebody gets it, it's not like they can hog up all of them. Their day is done, and the remaining codes will be issued out to other lucky drawn names. But even if it's just a chance at getting these decor packs, that's worth it, don't you think? So yeah, if you have built one, are planning to build one, know someone that's going to be working on it, make sure you get the info to me before the 30th. That way I can have you on the list and ready for the showcase. And of course, I'll be doing, I could probably do the auto draw thing, but I think I'll just do like I did with my guild in the past, and just have a big bucket of little papers and let you guys see that I'm actually drawing it out of the hat or whatever. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I'm excited. I hope folks like the gift, the decor packs. put them to good use, and so it should be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. It's like early Christmas, basically. Although it'll be after after Christmas when it hits. But hopefully you guys are looking forward to it as much as I am. And of course, always to see what you guys come up with. That's really the big thing. The decor packs are just an added bonus, icing on the cake, if you will. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I hope we continue not to have any more connectivity problems so that folks can play to their heart's content. If you have been experimenting with the color shifting, please do share some tweets or at least drop it in the forums so that other people can see what you're messing with. Because again, I probably won't be messing with it much myself, so they're not really going to see it too much on my part unless we actually visit a home that's used it. But of course, join us next week for more of the Advent stuff. We're going to continue working on the candy house. And of course, we have the tours and everything to look forward to in addition to that. So have a great weekend, guys. Thank you for joining. Appreciate the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the votes, all of that fun stuff. And of course, the company in chat. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.